drawing to a close, and the autumn light casts warm, soft tones over the road. In the distance, the Alqueva Mountains stand out against the horizon as National Road 10 stretches ahead. Today's journey crosses the central Alentejo region from west to east, starting from the coast, passing through 3 districts, and ending near the border with Spain. The weather is mild and calm, creating a pleasant and steady ride. The landscape unfolds in vast plains, dotted with cork oaks and olive trees, forming the characteristic scenery of the region. The town of Viana do Alentejo welcomes visitors with the calm atmosphere typical of the Alentejo interior. The sanctuary of Our Lady of Aries, a site of both religious and historical significance. Archaeological signs reveal ancient Roman settlement in the area and later a small church in the 16th century dedicated to Marian worship. Between 1743 and 1804, the current Baroque church was built based on a design by Father João Baptista of the Oratory of Extremos. Outside, the courtyard and the approach invite quiet reflection, embedded within the Alentejo's expansive landscape. Just a few hundred meters from the main sanctuary lies the Chapel of the Cross, also called the Hermitage of Our Lord Jesus of the Cross. Its construction began in 1742, on the site of an earlier wayside cross. The chapel is today in a deteriorated condition. Leaving Viana do Alentejo behind. The road opens wide and calm. The landscape stretches endlessly, trees lining the fields, white farmhouses scattered across the plains, and the soft hum of the engine blending with the wind. Our route now heads towards Portel, a small town with deep historical roots, built on a hill between the Guadiana River and the Mendro Mountain ridge. From the Moorish period to the foundation of Portugal, Portel was both a crossing point and a defensive stronghold. In the 13th century, it was granted a royal charter by King Afonso III, and under King Dinas the castle was strengthened, shaping the village that grew around it. Founded in the mid-13th century by João Pérez de Aboim following the grant of the honour of Portel by King Afonso III. The fortress displays a heptagonal layout reinforced at its corners by circular towers and is anchored by a square keep approximately 25 meters tall. Strategically placed between Évora, Beja and the Guadiana River, it played a vital defensive and administrative role. During the crisis of 1383 to 1385, the castle became a scene of political turmoil. Forces loyal to Queen Beatrice clashed with the supporters of the Master of Avis, later King João I. At the top of Portel, near the old castle walls, stands the statue of Nuno Álvares Pereira, known as the Holy Constable, one of Portugal's greatest national heroes. The bronze sculpture honours the man who, in the late 14th century, ensured the nation's independence during the crisis of 1383 to 1385. Leaving Portel behind, the road unfolds gently through rolling hills and scattered cork oaks. The Alentejo opens up in layers of light, wide, calm, and endless. Along the way, Small farmhouses and whitewashed walls break the vastness. Time here isn't measured in minutes, but in the distance between shadows and sun. As the sun begins to sink, the light turns golden, wrapping the landscape in warmth. This is the Alentejo at its most genuine, vast, patient, and deeply human. The Alqueva Dam emerges like a mirror of light stretching beyond the horizon. It is the largest artificial lake in Western Europe, a creation that has forever changed the landscape of this region. The landscape around it seems to breathe differently now. What were once dry hills have become calm shores, where deep blue water meets the warm tones of the earth. Entire villages were moved, memories submerged beneath the surface, yet a new life began.
Aquilo no meio. Apareceu-me.
The wind and the soft movement of water blend into one sound, while the fading sun paints everything in gold. The greatness of Alqueva isn't loud. It's something you feel, quietly. Calm waters mirror the sky. The magnitude of this creation is quiet and vast. And as we fly over the reservoir, it becomes clear that preserving tradition and memory is as important as shaping the future. Every island, every stretch of water, every village partially submerged tells a story of change and endurance. On the dam wall, the phrase reads, "On a clear day you can see forever," a simple invitation to pause and reflect. The road gently ends at Vila Nova de São Bento. The night will be simple, a meal, a toast to the journey, and preparation for the next day. Yet there is something special in this pause, a chance to absorb the history and the landscape that have accompanied us throughout the journey. The morning awakens quietly. The calm is only interrupted by birdsong. It's time to prepare the motorcycle, fill the tank, and review the maps. Today's route will be longer, heading westward. The day begins with promises of new discoveries, and each kilometer adds another layer to the unfolding story of this region.
Tens o mapa já? É? Tens o mapa? Vem.
As the motorcycle takes the road, the landscape unfolds flat and open, dotted with rivers and gentle hills. The Alentejo plains contrast autumn greens with the golden tones of cultivated land. The road stretches across wide, flat plains, broken only by small rises and scattered cork oaks. This area is defined by numerous watercourses, many transformed by the construction of dams that reshaped the landscape and created extensive lakes where valleys and farmland once lay. On the horizon, another ancient sanctuary rises, visible from afar. These religious buildings are common across the Alentejo plains, marking the historical presence of faith and popular devotion. We follow the shores of Alqueva, where the waters seem to stretch endlessly. The reservoir is immense, reshaping the landscape completely. The contrast between deep blue water and golden fields is striking, giving a sense of almost infinite space. As we ride along, the lake's arms extend for kilometers, forming islands and small peninsulas. We arrive at Mourão, a village shaped by history and the constant presence of the Guadiana River. At the entrance, a replica of the castle stands as a symbol of local defence, hinting at its strategic importance over the centuries. The castle of Mourão dates back to the medieval period, likely linked to the Christian reconquest and the control of Alentejo's borders. The fortress served as a lookout, population protection, and logistical support, witnessing key military events, including conflicts during the crisis of 1383 to 1385 and later border wars with Castile. Mourão played a strategic role, serving as an observation post and shelter for forces loyal to the Master of Avis. In the 16th and 17th centuries, during border wars with Castile and the restoration of independence, Mourão served as a logistical base, troop quarters, and permanent lookout post. The geometry of the walls and strategic location reveal how medieval builders balanced security, visibility, and functionality, creating a space that endured centuries of conflict. Leaving Mourão, we headed towards Reguengos de Monsaraz, traversing a landscape once again defined by the arms of the Alqueva Reservoir, bridges and small artificial islands. The road winds gently along the lake's edge, offering multiple perspectives on the vast water surface and the surrounding agricultural fields. This region is characterized by a strong connection between land and water. The dams reshaped the plains, submerging villagers and reorganizing the territory, yet also creating opportunities for rural tourism, fishing and small-scale farming. Every bend in the road offers a new perspective, reminding us how the region has been shaped over centuries by the presence of this reservoir and the management of its waters. Reguengos de Monsaraz. The village reveals its traditional layout. At its centre stands the Church of Santo Antonio, a religious architecture, eclectic, neo-Gothic revivalist. Neo-Gothic parish church with a Latin cross plan, strongly influenced by Gothic revival religious architecture, featuring the bell tower in the middle of the facade, forming a tower facade. The church is notable not only for its simple yet elegant exterior, but also for its interior details, statues of saints, and a Christ displayed in a glass tomb, reflecting the devotion and religious history of the local community. We arrive in Évora, one of the most emblematic cities of the Alentejo and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The narrow, cobbled streets lead us to a well-preserved historic centre, where every building tells a story spanning centuries of occupation and urban development. Évora bears traces from prehistory, through the Roman period, when it was known as Évora Liberalitas Julia, to the Middle Ages and Manueline expansion. The medieval castle, city walls, temples, and churches demonstrate the city's strategic and cultural importance over time. The city also reflects a convergence of cultures: Romans, Moors, and Christians, all left visible marks in architecture and urban planning. The Temple of Diana, located in the heart of Évora, is one of the best preserved Roman monuments in Portugal. Built likely in the 1st century AD, the temple reflects classical Roman architecture, with Corinthian columns and a granite stone structure that remains imposing after nearly 2,000 years. Although its exact function is still studied, it is believed to have been dedicated to imperial worship or a Roman deity, serving as a central point for devotion and authority. Évora is surrounded by medieval walls that bear witness to centuries of history and conflict. Built between the 14th and 16th centuries, these walls protected the city from invasions and attacks, particularly during the 1383 to 1385 succession crisis and the border wars with Castile. The Évora Castle, located on an elevated site, complements the defensive system, allowing surveillance of the plains and control over major access routes. Towers and gates were strategically positioned to hinder enemy advances and ensure that inhabitants could seek safety within the city. As we move through the streets and fly over the walls, the city's military significance becomes clear. Bastions, battlements, and bulwarks form an architectural ensemble combining defensive function with urban integration. The Aqueduct of Agua de Prata, built in the 16th century, is a remarkable example of how hydraulic solutions were integrated harmoniously with the city and its surroundings. Its elevated arches and visual alignments create a striking contrast with the whitewashed buildings and urban landscape. Vendas Novas has a history closely tied to the Portuguese army. The town hosted military units, including the 5th Artillery Regiment, which played important roles in national and international conflicts. This presence shaped not only the urban structure, but also daily life and the identity of the local community. The town thus combines military heritage and civil tradition, offering an authentic experience of Alentejo history. Alongside establishments preserving local culinary traditions, with baifanas standing out as a symbol of gastronomy and popular culture. We sit down to enjoy the famous baifanas, a simple dish full of tradition, symbolizing Alentejo's culinary culture and local hospitality. As we savor the meal, we reflect on the 2-day journey from the coast to the heart of the Mid-Alentejo, crossing plains, rivers, reservoirs, villages, and historic monuments. Each town, castle, and church revealed stories of resilience, devotion, engineering, and culture, showing the richness of a region shaped by the interaction of people, water, and land over centuries. If you enjoyed this trip through the Mid-Alentejo, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.